everybody. I'm Serena. Welcome to the Carnivore Revolution.
I'm Jess, and today we're going to be making the Carnivorous Chef Reid. We're going to be making his recipe of Carnivore Mac and Cheese.
And I actually saw on his YouTube channel that this is actually Lady Carnivore's recipe. Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do, or the first thing you're going to want to do, is get your pots ready and your oven ready. So you preheat your oven to 450. I have a pan of water right here heating on medium heat. And then I have another pan over here with water and my cast iron pan on top because I don't have very many cooking utensils. And that's on medium heat, and that'll be to melt the cheese later.
Right. So that would be, you're kind of making a double boiler by doing that. And I'm actually going to take my chances and just use a regular pan for mine, because on that last recipe of his that we did, we had to reduce the cream with the cheese to make the carnivore biscuits and gravy. That's on our last video. If you want to find that, just go to our channel, and it's the one before this. And that worked fine just in this pot. So I'm going to go ahead and do it like that and see what happens. I think it'll be okay.
This recipe seems like it'll be pretty simple. You just need some ground up pork rind, pound of chicken. This time I'm going to use ground turkey and see how it works to make noodles. Because the last time I tried to use chicken to make a ground up chicken to make a mixture, it did not go well. That was on Lady Carnivore's. They're just regular enchiladas, but you use chicken to make the tortilla. So you can go watch that video too if you haven't watched that one. We made a mess.
So in that one we used whole chicken, raw chicken breasts, and used like our blenders to mix them up, and Jess's blender did not like it very much. And so we decided from now on with recipes, she's going to use a meat that's already ground. And this recipe actually calls for the ground chicken, but you can't find that in Japan, right?
I cannot find ground chicken, and they do not have it in the US commissary. So I'm hoping ground turkey works the same as ground chicken. That'll be the first thing that we need to do is you grind up your pound of chicken or turkey and add 2 eggs, and then put it in a plastic bag and put it in the fridge while we're doing other things. So we'll do that right now.
So I am actually, this is a lot more chicken than we're supposed to have, and this may be a mistake, but I'm going to go ahead and triple my recipe because I have a really good feeling that the people in my house are going to love this. So I'm actually going to triple mine. So we don't use any cream cheese for this recipe?
No.
That's a shame. Cream cheese is my favorite. This recipe seems fairly simple, so let's see how complicated we can make it.
Let's see how much we can mess this one up. But then still pull through and have delicious food.
And neither one of us have a food processor. So I'm going to do this by hand. I may wish that I was using my KitchenAid. We'll see.
How's it going?
I feel like you did with the oopsie cake.
And we both already ground up our pork rinds, and the recipe only calls for about 1 ounce of ground up pork rinds, and you sprinkle it on the top at the end. I just crushed this up with a pan and then just used my hand for the rest of it.
I did mine too, and I made a little bit more since I'm making more of the recipe. Probably should have put mine in my KitchenAid.
Ground turkey is already working better than the chicken breast.
Oh, good. That's what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty mixed up. Now we're going to put it in a Ziploc bag.
Yes, so next you get a cup and just put a gallon bag over the cup and put your mixture in there, and then pop it in the fridge while you do the rest.
I'm trying not to get raw chicken everywhere like you did last time.
And this will be our noodles soon.
Yum.
Okay, so next we are going to get some prosciutto. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but this is we just chop it up and it goes on top. So it's not like a huge deal if you don't have prosciutto, but it sounded good to me. So did they like the biscuits and gravy?
Yes. I think it's delicious. I almost don't want to share. Darn, they said yes. So I bought extra. I bought about 6 packs of this the other day, not even realizing we were going to use it for this recipe because we are going out of town next week and it's about a 17-hour drive each way. And I wanted to have some good snacks for me. Last time we made the drive was at the end of April. I had just a little bit of dried ham and dried beef, and I was wishing that I'd had more. And there's going to be 6 of us in the car, and then we're going to be there for a week. And so I wanted to have a lot of some dried meats with us for me and anybody else who wants them. So this just goes on the top as kind of a decoration.
We're going to mix the prosciutto and some cheese and the pork rinds into a bowl, and that'll be like the crust that goes on top. He does recommend Parmesan cheese and a couple different cheeses, but I'm not going to be using Parmesan. I couldn't find any Parmesan at the store. As long as there's cheese in it, it still counts, right?
Yep, that's right. I'm having a hard time cutting the prosciutto, so I'm just going to break it into pieces. I don't think I have a sharp enough knife.
Mine looks like a mauled animal. It's definitely not good slices.
It's fine.
We only put a little bit of the prosciutto in the topping and then save more for later.
I feel like we say it's fine a lot when we're cooking. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine.
And that positive attitude, even though we make a mess, the food still always tastes good. And
that's right.
I'm gonna say it's because of our positive attitude, saying everything's fine.
I give it a thumbs up. So I put a little bit of this in the bag.
I'm gonna put mine in a bowl and just dump it into a bowl and just like mix it together.
Okay, I'm gonna use the bag.
And then I just have some cheese that was in my fridge and I'm gonna use that.
So you're putting that in with the topping?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it say how much we're supposed to put in there?
I will read it and I'll tell you. I just kind of threw things in there though, like I do.
It's fine.
So the topping is 1 ounce ground pork rinds. It's supposed to be 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, black pepper, paprika, and prosciutto, and nutmeg. But I'm not going to use nutmeg or paprika or pepper or cheddar. So mine is just pork rinds, prosciutto, and the white cheese.
I don't buy a lot of, special stuff. I make sure everything I have doesn't have, a lot of additives or anything like that. But for the most part, I'm pretty easygoing with, like, as far as just buying the brands that are already at the grocery store and not having to go to a specialty store and spend, 4 times as much on something. I use the rest of my wraps from the enchiladas as noodles in a lasagna type dish last night. It wasn't lasagna, but it helped make the layers. It was decent. I let the rest of my family go ahead and put some tomato sauce on theirs and add some spices to it since I didn't use any garlic or onion or anything like that. And it was decent, I think, but it was not lasagna.
Good. So the next step is going to be melting the cheese. I've had this over the heat, so hopefully it's hot enough to melt. If not, we'll figure something else out. It'll be fine. Oh, the water's boiling though.
It's just hard for it to get through that cast iron skillet, I bet.
We are going to need 1 cup of heavy cream, 3 ounces of cheddar cheese, 2 ounces of Brie. So this is just the part where he recommends these cheeses, and me and you are going to just use the cheese that we like or the cheese that we have. The key would be the 1 cup of heavy cream, the rest of your prosciutto, and salt to taste.
Okay, I have triple the amount of chicken that I am making, but I'm not going to triple the cream. I'll triple the cheese probably, and we'll just see how it comes out. You're just making 1 batch, so we'll have that as our control for people who just want to make the 1 batch. And I'm just going to kind of mess with mine a little bit since I'm tripling it and just see. Tripling it may not have been the best idea. I don't know how much this makes, this recipe, but I think with a pound of chicken, it's not going to be enough like for a whole family. So that's why I decided to go ahead and triple it. You may not need 3 times the liquid. So if there's any recipes that you would like us to make or something that you would like us to carnivorize, just let us know in the comments and we will be picking new recipes every week to do. We've had so much fun trying out all these recipes.
Definitely. Like if you have a favorite dish that you miss that you used to eat before you were carnivore, we'll try to carnivorize it or find a recipe that has carnivorized it.
Okay, my cheese is melting.
Me too. Mine is more soupy. Maybe I should add more cheese because mine doesn't look like that.
Well, but I didn't add as much cream. You know, the ratio of mine, I didn't do, so I may actually end up needing more cream. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just go ahead and triple it.
I'm gonna add more cheese anyway.
So the texture that mine was before I added this extra cream is probably similar to what it is actually supposed to be like. Mine is still very gooey though. Oh, I love cheese.
Okay, so while the cheese is melting, then we can start making the little noodles.
Okay.
That looks really good.
This is so not appetizing looking.
I know. And this part actually, I think, requires a little bit of technique, which I think I'm going to mess this up very badly.
You can do it.
So you cut off the tip of the bag and then you apply even pressure, and then about a 1/4 inch piece, I think he says, you put it into the water and let it cook for a few minutes. Once you get about halfway through your mixture.
So my bags aren't like square at the bottom. It like comes to a pleat. And so I cut off the other side and the hole was too big because it got 2 layers. So I taped it up.
Ready?
Yes. Oh, my cheese. Don't forget the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's going to watch this and like cringe?
Probably. I think anyone who actually has like skills in the kitchen would probably watch any of these videos and be like, what are they doing?
But it's real because not everybody has those, you know, chef skills.
And it still tastes good. So
That's right. It's all about the taste.
yep.
Don't forget about your cheese.
Okay, I think I got about half of my mixture in there. And then he does recommend, once they're done cooking, to lay them out onto a pan and let the excess water come out of them.
And then so you let these dry while you're putting the other half in the water?
Yeah, I would assume so. How does your water look? Do you think we can reuse the same water?
I think you could. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait for more water to boil again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure I have a slotted spoon.
Oh, really? I have something you don't have?
Now I'm going to feel guilty if I find a slotted spoon in here.
Just pretend like you didn't find one.
I think I'll use this. I'm going to use my grilling spatula. It's fine.
Do you think your little noodles are done?
I think so. I don't know how to tell. My cheese sauce is reducing quite nicely, I believe.
Mine looks good too.
I'm kind of funny about having to wash dishes. So I think I'm going to use a big pan with parchment paper on it, with paper towels on it to catch the water from them.
Yeah, I have paper towel in mine, so I hope that's okay, that it'll
Okay.
just work like that.
I wish this was a slotted spoon.
I'm in the noodle making zone, the carnivore noodle making zone. I guess these are technically little meatballs. So it's meatballs and cheese instead of mac and cheese.
I need to put slotted spoon on my grocery list. But I can almost guarantee you next time I need one, I probably won't have it. I will forget. I'm questioning the prosciutto now. I may just put it on the top because all of my family doesn't actually like ham. So I may actually just put that on the top of half of it and not mix it in.
Okay.
Just in case they like this. I don't want them to not want to eat it because of the ham.
Oh, okay.
I've realized that we have to put it in the oven for a little while to get them dry. So I'm going to take the paper towels off.
So after you're done with your noodles, then you put them in a pan and salt them and put them in the oven at 450 for 10 minutes. Yours looked really good.
Thanks. Yours did too.
So once these are done and pulled out of the oven, then you put them in your cheese sauce and mix it all into your cheese sauce.
Yeah, that's not happening. There's no way all of that is going to fit this little tiny pot. So I think I'll put mine in my glass dish that I'm going to bake it in, and then I'll pour the cheese over top of it.
Okay.
Chicken noodles.
My pan is so old that it's starting to like come off with the pieces. So I'm having to pick out the ones that don't have a piece of pan stuck to them.
You need parchment paper.
Yes, I do. I have that written on my list of groceries, and it's been like 3 times now that we've gone to the store and I've forgotten parchment paper.
I do that too. But I'm really funny about my parchment paper. I won't ever let myself run out. I actually order the bigger sheets to cover my big pan that I just used. I order those on Amazon, and I will order them when I realize the stack I have is getting really thin because I don't want to have to wash that giant pan every time I use it. You do really have to watch your pan with the butter and the cream in it. Mine got a little bit stuck.
I'm just tossing my noodles in there.
Is it too early to taste it?
Mm-hmm.
I better not. I'll wait.
Okay, so once you have your noodles mixed in with your cheese, you put them into the dish that you want to bake it in, and then we're gonna put our pork rind crumble on top. Okay, so once we sprinkle our pork rind mixture on top, then you put it back into the oven. That's at 450 for about 10 minutes or until your prosciutto is nice and crispy.
So I'm going to put this mixture on half, and then I'm just going to put cheese on half, since I'm not sure everybody will want this on theirs. And I'm hoping to share this with my family. Obviously, that's why I tripled the recipe.
And I'm realizing now that he put the prosciutto on the very last thing instead of mixing it in with the pork rinds in the beginning, but it's fine.
It's fine. And I know that my shredded cheese does have some anti-caking agents in it, but I don't use it very much. I typically use fresh sliced cheese, so I'm not going to worry about it with these few recipes that we do. A lot of people wouldn't want to use the cheese because it has those anti-caking things in it. They just want to shred it themselves. And under normal circumstances, I would do that. You shredded yours yourself, and I do that most of the time. But today I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm not really worried about it every now and then.
Yeah, this does look really good though.
It does look so good. Okay.
I'm gonna put mine in for 10 minutes. Okay, are you ready to take it out?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go. Whoa. Bubbly, cheesy goodness.
That looks so good.
Oh, yum. Wow. It almost looks too good to eat.
I know, I don't even know how I'm gonna eat this.
Should we talk about what time it is real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So those of you that have seen our channel before, you know that I'm in Virginia in the United States and that Jess is in Okinawa, Japan. And so we started this knowing that it was going to get pretty late for her, but we had this time planned and we really wanted to go ahead and get another video done. And so in Virginia, it is noon, which means it's what time for you, Jess?
It's I don't know. It's 12:58.
So it is 1 o'clock in the morning for you, and you are so dedicated. You are such a trooper making macaroni and cheese
At 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It feels like college all over again.
Except this is not your ordinary macaroni and cheese.
This is Carnivorous Mac and Cheese.
Yep. Oh my goodness, that looks so good. Cheesy, steamy goodness.
I'm so excited.
Me too. I feel like we say that every time before we take a bite of our dish.
It's true every time.
I'm so excited.
Ooh, it's gonna be hot. We're gonna just be standing here like blowing on this. It's gonna have to do like, have you seen that SpongeBob thing where it's like 2 hours later?
Yes. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit. That's really good.
Very good. Wow. There's nothing I would change. That's wonderful.
This is really good. So the ground turkey worked fine. So if you can't find ground chicken and you don't want to use chicken breast, ground turkey works just fine too.
That's awesome to know that, because I like that a lot of the recipes that we have done have been very versatile. Like you could change little things here and there and have it still come out tasting really, really good.
Yeah, you can change things or mess things up, but it's still salvageable.
Specifically the messing things up part.
I really like that, because I wonder if that's just like a carnivore thing, because I've never been a good cook and I've made things that just don't taste good, but everything we've made, it still tastes good in the end. So
yeah,
I was talking to Lady Carnivore, and she said she had wise words to share with me. And she said it's pretty hard to make meat taste bad. And I was like, you're right.
Yeah, this is delicious. This recipe is something that I think you could make this and take this somewhere.
Oh yeah.
I think you could totally take it. You couldn't present it as macaroni and cheese, but you could totally take it somewhere and present it as a meat and cheese casserole with that beautiful crispy, crusty top on it. You just don't even have to tell people what it is necessarily. I mean, you could say it's just a meat and cheese casserole.
I definitely think this is one that, even if you're not carnivore, it's still delicious. It's definitely not mac and cheese, but it's delicious.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. We're going to let Jess finish her macaroni and cheese and go get some sleep.
We'll see you next time on the Carnivore Revolution. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe below.